Stanford High School's principal and assistant principal were arrested today for failing to report what they knew about an inappropriate relationship involving an English teacher and a student. 32-year-old Danielle Watkins was arrested back in July for allegedly having a sexual relationship with her 18-year-old student and supplying marijuana to him and at least one other student.
I didn't know how to feel because she was my homeroom teacher. And I didn't think she was that kind of a teacher to do something like that.
It kind of caught me by surprise just because I feel like all teachers are supposed to be someone you can go talk to and trust.
During the course of the investigation, Stanford police discovered that the school's administration was apparently aware of the incident as early as December 2013. Police say the school conducted an independent investigation without notifying DCF. On Thursday, Principal Donna Valentine and Assistant Principal Roth Norden turned themselves in and were charged with a Class A misdemeanor.
I thought it was pretty shocking just because I personally wouldn't expect that to happen, especially since it's the principal and the vice principal.
Superintendent of Stanford Public Schools, Dr. Winnie Hamilton, said Valentine and Norden will be placed on administrative leave. Hamilton said in a statement, "Once all the facts are known, we will take the opportunity to look closely at our practices and training to determine whether we should make changes in our processes going forward." For now, Rodney Bass will serve as interim principal at Stanford High. Valentine and Norden were processed and released on a written promise to appear. Police say the investigation is ongoing. Reporting in Stanford, Samantha McKelvey for It's Relevant News.
Welcome to another episode of the J Lex Podcast. I'm your host, J Lex. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. I appreciate you rocking with me today. Today's topic, as the double standards continue. I read an article over the weekend, actually a couple of them. I'm going to go into them a little bit. I won't bore you with all the details, but this is out of the New York Post, October 8th. Probe finds New York City teachers sent raunchy text, or what they put as sext, sexually preyed on students. Newly released reports from the Special Commissioner of Investigation for City Schools documented multiple cases of shocking sexually charged behavior by female teachers and aides in city public schools, from bedding students to sending explicit photos to high schoolers to exposing bare breasts to remote learning 5-year-olds. My God, Lord have mercy. First one we have here is a woman by the name of Natalie Black, 27, a teacher at Hillside Arts and Letters Academy in Queens, sent at least 15 raunchy snaps of herself in lingerie or nude to a 17-year-old male student beginning in late 2021. The boy was interviewed by NYPD, but no charges were filed. How does that work? If it was the other... Anyway, I'll get to that in a moment. She still has her job, not fired. By March 2022, the report found Black's bad behavior escalated. She showed male students her special lady parts, pulled down her pants in a student's hold, and told him to eat my... And the last one starts with an A. Somebody likes a salad. Anyway, and sent kids videos of herself de-throating a liquor bottle and dancing naked from the waist down. This is just one of them, but ladies and gentlemen, how does this woman still have a job? Well, I'm going to go into the article a little bit more. Just give me 1 second. Hillside administrators never informed the school community of the investigation, students said. Black refused to cooperate with the investigators. She was removed from the Department of Education Services, the DOE, while the probe was ongoing, the report noted, but remained an employee, according to her active LinkedIn page, which also sends readers to self-created videos of Black singing performances on YouTube. Oh my gosh, how there's so many failures here. Obviously, the school, what is it called? Hillside, where is it? Hillside School. Obviously, the administrators there clearly failed at their job by not informing the school community of the investigation. It's amazing to me that this woman still was able to have a job doing all of those things. First question I have, do these people not know how technology works? How do you do all this and not realize that all this stuff is tracked? Like, the cell phone companies keep all your texts, all your videos, everything like that for like something like 7 years. Like, they can easily go back and find all this information, and you're using your regular phone to do this. Anyway, we'll continue. There's another one here. Let me see. I'm getting it right now. We have another teacher by the name of Danielle Medillion, then 24, exchanged nearly 5,500 very flirtatious texts with a boy in her class. Lord have mercy, 5,500. Thankfully, text messages are unlimited now. Jesus Christ. We got another one here. Michelle Zach, 24, engaged in an inappropriate relationship with 2 of her underage students. My goodness. And another one, let's see here. This woman's name is Makita Brooks Stanton, a paraprofessional. I don't know what that is. At PS 160 in Queens, took her phone along with her to a May 2020 doctor's visit, then stripped down for a breast exam in full view of the remote learning pre-kindergarten class. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. That's terrible. Like, at least the 17-year-olds I can kind of get with, because they're kind of grown anyway. They're even though they're teenagers and it's wrong to do, I can at least understand that. But why would you? Anyway. She even had the doctor say hi to the class on Google Meet with her bare breasts out, said a mortified mother who was monitoring the session over her 5-year-old shoulder. Oh my gosh. And who's the idiot doctor who says hello while her breasts are do people not have common sense? Jesus Christ. Anyway, you guys get the gist of this, all right? There's a couple other ones here. I won't bore you with it. It's pretty much the same type of stories. Inappropriate relationships, sexual relationships. It just doesn't make any sense. I remember a story a couple years ago when I used to work in Connecticut. I worked in Riverside for about 12 years. I trained one of the teachers or the guidance counselors who worked in the Stanford High School at the time. I don't remember which high school it was. But there was a huge scandal that she told me about, because it was known that a teacher was having sexual relations with one of the students. Same thing, like 18 years old. But the student was attempting to break up with the teacher, and the teacher basically threatened to fail the student if he did so. So the student went to the administration, had to, snitch to protect himself. But the administrator, some of them, I believe even the vice principal, was arrested, which that's what you're supposed to do in those situations. If people know about these inappropriate relationships, quote unquote, then not just the teachers who were involved in it, but the administrators who didn't go and stop what was supposed to be done, or they didn't stop and tell the teacher to either stop or to fire the teacher. Okay? That's what's supposed to happen. How are these teachers who are doing these things not being fired, not being arrested? In particular, in one of the cases, they didn't even tell that there was an investigation. Somebody has to lose his or her job. What are we doing out here? And why isn't there more outrage? If it was the other way around, we know what this is already. If it was the other way around, we'd be calling for that male teacher's head to be put under a guillotine. But here we have nothing. We have no kickback. Where's the outrage? Where's the protests? How are these women? I think one of the women ended up resigning, and then she sued later or something along those lines in this probe. How are you able to get away with this? How are you able to keep a job and make a paycheck when you're doing something that, even if the students are 17, is at the very least frowned upon? And I ask, where are y'all feminists at? Is it okay for a 27, a 30, a 32-year-old to be banging a student? To be sending them raunchy videos? Telling them to toss my salad? Some of y'all are parents, and y'all not saying nothing. Where's the outrage? See, this is the double standard that I'm talking about. Where's the accountability? As I talked about in one of the other episodes, accountability lacking. One of them, here, I'm going to read it for you right now. In one situation, Juliana Garofalo, another Institute for Collaborative Education teacher, told coworkers she was having a sexual relationship with a male student before he graduated in 2018. The then 33-year-old resigned from the Department of Education before the SCI recommended her termination, but sued the city when word of the damning report was going back to a Connecticut private school that unknowingly hired her. The New York State Supreme Court dismissed her case in December, saying that the Garofalo's behavior was utterly disqualifying for any teaching job. Thank you. Thank you. That's what you're supposed to do. When you do fuck shit like that, you get fired. That's like when you have cops who've like killed people in the past and then end up landing a job somewhere else. Why isn't this stuff made national? Why, in fact, why aren't these women having to register as sex offenders? It would happen to a guy. Nobody told him to have an inappropriate relationship with an underage student. Yes, I know in some states 17 is technically legal. But you're not supposed to be having a sexual relationship with a student in the school? You couldn't wait till after dude graduated? Till at least he was in college? These women should have to register as sex offenders. Where's the outrage? This is the double standard that we're talking about. I've talked about it on many occasions. Is this what equality looks like? Banging high school students? Well, the guys did it, yes, and they should be thrown in prison. And I know there's a little bit of like the standards are different. Like if a guy, lands an older woman, like you're like, oh, that's great. He's going to get great experience, blah, blah, blah. If it's the other way around, we frown upon it. Well, we find it disgusting. And in the case of a guy, we frown upon it. But the rules should still apply to everybody. Most of those teachers who have those inappropriate sexual relationships, if I'm not mistaken, have to register as sex offenders. And they go to prison. This other woman ran to Connecticut to a private school because she still wanted to be a teacher, probably trying to bang students in there. One teacher showing her breasts on goddamn Google Meet. Are you stupid? But that's the real question I have today. Are we okay with these double standards? Should you not be held accountable for your poor actions, or in the case of some of these administrators, inaction? They should lose their jobs too. They should be arrested as well. Instead of the first woman I told you about is still employed. It's essentially administrative leave while she still gets paid. Here we are angry at the suspended head coach, Boston Celtics, which makes no sense. The suspended head coach of the Boston Celtics for having an inappropriate relationship, a consensual, even though it was inappropriate, a consensual relationship with another adult woman. Here we are outraged, faux rage, but teachers are out here banging students, and nothing from the peanut gallery. Nothing, not a word. Is this what equality looks like? Is this what we're okay with? Why? Because many years ago, guys were doing it, and they probably still are to some extent. But we're not going to say anything about these women out here preying on young students. Where is the accountability? How can we have it? It works. It only works in this situation. I've talked about this before. a lot of women, not all of women, obviously, and if this doesn't apply to you, then no need to get offended, want equality with provisions. They want I guess trappings is not the word, but I'll just say for now, trappings, all the good things that come with being a man, but none of the bad. You want to be head honcho of your household in some cases until it's time to pick up something heavy. Or if somebody happens to, we know crime is up, so if somebody breaks into the house, now the man's got to step up. But I thought you wanted equality. It's all provisional. It's all, only what works for me. None of the bad stuff, all the good, because of things that happened in the past, women, which were wrong. We know this. But if you want that equality, you have to take everything that comes with it. So that means if you're deep-throating liquor bottles and you're buying liquor, which I've heard in some other cases in the past, for underage students, you should not be able to plea bargain out of it because a guy would not. You're going to get the same exact treatment. They're going to send you to a women's prison. They clearly can't send you to a male prison, but you're going to get sent to prison. You're going to spend a little time in a slammer to think about the sins that you've committed because you knew what you were doing. You weren't forced to do it. You didn't have to do it. If those students, I know of teachers who've been, female teachers who have been full-on harassed. One of my friends was full-on harassed by a student. And the only reason her husband didn't go down there is because she asked him not to. Those students would have caught slugs, or at the very least fists. And in some cases, the administration does nothing to either curtail or get that student out of there. And I get it. In some cases, they're children. Well, they also know what's right from wrong. Or they should. And I know it's a home thing. I know some of these parents out here are failing miserably. Some of it not their fault. We can go into the whole single parent thing, but I don't feel like doing that right now. Misguided youth out here, etc. But you're an adult. You couldn't even wait till after they graduated high school to get up in there. You out here, and then one of the women is out here suing when she knows good and doggone well she was having a relationship with somebody because the report was going to come out, and she ran to some part of Connecticut. Where is the accountability? Like I said before, the administrators should be arrested too. They knew what was going on. I have another story for you. Oh, my goodness. This one dates back a little bit. Let me find it. Give me 1 second. Here's another one. Ex-Colton high school football players allege coach's daughter, who was the team's trainer, sexually abused them. 6 former high school athletes are accusing their former football trainer, Tiffany Strauss Gordon, of sexually abusing them while they were students at Colton High School more than 2 decades ago. This was an open secret. Now, this is a little bit different. This dates back. Let me go through it a little bit. Representing the players have filed a lawsuit against Stratton and the school district, the Unified School District. And the lawsuit claims that Gordon's sexual assaults occurred throughout Colton High School's campus, including the locker room, training room, bathroom, weight room, and football trailer. What? Who bangs in a weight room? People are sweaty. Oh. Strauss Gordon is the daughter of legendary high school football coach Harold Strauss and was a team's trainer under her father's tenure. If the roles were reversed, this would be very different. Nobody would be questioning whether this was an assault. There would be people in jail, Dunn said. I mean, there would be an uproar. Exactly what I said. Where is the uproar? Oh, the perpetrator, male or female, should not be able to leverage their position of power and their access to these children in order to sexually assault them, Rec said. Yes, Rec. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it just said, Strauss-Gordon's attorneys dispute the claims, questioning why the alleged victims are only now stepping forward after more than 20 years. I think this happened from around 2002 to 2006. I can partially understand that coming up, but once again, where is the article's absolutely right with whoever who said this. The Rec and Gemma Dunn with Gordon Gross are representing the former players. They're absolutely right. If this was in reverse, do you remember Sandusky from Penn State? Banging little boys in the bathroom? In the showers and everything like that? Allegedly, a lot. I know eventually he died. But from everything that we know, Joe Paterno knew what was going on. The only reason Joe Paterno got lucky is because he got some form of cancer and died like a few months after everything came out. Knew that this was going on, didn't want to ruin the reputation of the Penn State program that he'd built, so he kept it quiet. He's just as much an accomplice as that disgusting pig Sandusky was. And the other administrators, I don't remember all of the administrators who knew about it or were involved in it or anything along those lines. The story was a few years back. But once again, Sandusky eventually went to prison. Why? Because that's where he's supposed to go when you do fuck shit like that. Pardon my language. But a female does it in a day and age where where most things are supposed to be equal, they should be in prison as long as it can be proven. If you have proof that it's done, the only thing we should be talking about is how much time you're going to spend in prison. Not no goddamn plea deals. Not anything where, oh no, we have to hide it. No, you are a sex offender. Sign the goddamn papers, be a registered sex offender, whether it's statewide or national, whatever the case might be. Do your time and move on. Why these women are still able to keep their jobs is beyond me. Michael Vick, a couple years back, I know it's a totally different subject, several years back, went to prison. He really went to prison for gambling across state lines, but what was the idea? Or what was the charges they put out there? Dog fighting. I'm a dog lover myself. It's terrible what he did, but guess what happened to him? He went to jail. Once again, he predominantly went to jail for taxation purposes, but they put it under the guise of dogfighting because I think most states, if you are caught in like a dogfighting, I think it's like a 4-month sentence, not a year and a half. So it was because he, wasn't paying taxes on that money. But guess what? They sent him to jail, and he was at that point, the most electrifying player in all of the National Football League. He spent his time, he paid his dues, fines, whatever the case might be, and now he's out here, he's working, doing the whole bit, post-football. These women should be in prison. At the very least. The fact that they still kept their jobs, those administrators who let them keep their jobs and withheld that information from the school community should also be in prison. You're accomplices. Male or female, I don't care how you roll. If women want equality in this world, you have to take the good with the bad. And when you do bad, you have to pay for it. Period. This is not up for discussion. Well, it could have been, they could have been, I don't want to hear it. No, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any excuses. Equality is what y'all want. Okay, when you do good shit, you should be rewarded for it. When you do bad shit, you should be rewarded for that in a negative way. Prison, loss of wages, etc. Oh, I don't want to hear about equality. I don't want to hear about, women get 77 cents to every man's dollar. I don't want to hear about it. You want to be equal to a man? No problem. You take the good shit, and then when you do bad shit, you deal with that too. You don't get provisions in this life. At least not by my standards. Thank you for listening to another episode of the J Lex Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment on the content. Thank you for rocking with me. Take care. Bye.